The next one, we'll be talking about difficult relatives. Either we are the ones who are difficult, or we may have some who are difficult. But today we're going to talk about the experience in the home. We are blessed to return to the physical life in a home. We grow up, then we make our homes with others. We choose a partner, and then we decide to have a family. So there are ways that can make this interaction more pleasant, more rewarding, and a matter of more and more understanding towards one another, and of course of growth, because you and I are here after all to grow in this lifetime, correct? Let's make sure the sound is okay and I can hear you guys and you can hear me. So let's start. Andrea Luis tells us order, work, charity, benevolence, and comprehension begin in the home. So, how is your home in terms of work, order, charity, benevolence, and comprehension? Jesus, in the book Just in the Home by Neil Lucio brings to us that Jesus tells us the home is the school of the souls. In the first chapters of the book, Jesus in the Home. Here, Andrea Luis is reminding us order, charity, benevolence, and comprehension, and work. So we need to work, keep the house in good order. We need to be organized, be understanding towards one another. How is your home in relation to those items? Because we want to read, we want to study, but we also want to bring it to our own lives, right? We want to make sure that whatever we do, we apply the teachings to our lives, of course. It says, our relatives provide us with a means of getting closer to those we care about, but it's never captivity. So when we are together with our family members, our parents, our relatives, this is a means, as a field of getting closer. Let's think about this. When we become a superior spirit one day, we will be closer and loving towards many, many more people than today. So we start in the home with those who have made it possible for us to experience this lifetime on the earth, and those who we are given the opportunity to return to the physical life. And he says, let us learn to listen without interrupting those who speak when we are at home, so that we can listen with safety the lessons of life. It's very common today that we are not mindful and present in our conversations. We're always interrupting. We can hear the sounds, but we are not listening to the words. So how are you in your interaction with your family members? Do we really listen, clearly listen without interrupting, allowing the person to finish their thought completely before we jump into a conclusion and we think about a response? So the home is a place to practice, because when you go out in the world, the things you've done in the home are the things you're going to replicate out in the world for sure, right? All right, this now is about the dwelling itself. Home is a place of rest and recovery, never a collection of furniture and decorations, although one can and should decorate as much as possible with distinction and good taste. So are we accumulating things and furniture and items to show off? Are we unable to let go of some things that served us in the past and now do not serve us anymore? So a good reflection, because everything that we own, everything that we have uses the resources of the planet, and the planet is finite. We have one planet to live this physical life. So the less we consume, the less we use the resources, and there's less waste, pollution, trash, so on and so forth. And he's saying home is it's a place for you and I to rest and recover, not just a place to put our furnitures we can use and decorations. Although he says we can, with distinction and good taste, if we want, we can decorate our homes and bring the house into a home, right? But more than the physical, resting and recovery, that's the place we come to after work, a work day, after enjoying some leisure time with family and friends. It's also the place where we spend a lot of time sleeping, where our physical body is resting and then our spiritual body and spirit are traveling and doing things. So it's a very sacred manner. In that sense, I'm going to interject here and recommend that we think about those who are brought into our homes. What is their vibrational pattern? What are the things they focus on? Because whatever they focus on is what they're going to bring with them to your home environment. In that sense, when you go to someone's home, do you go there in order to experience this rest and recovery, or we go into someone's home to bring discord and disorder, disharmony, right? So we have to be very, very careful. And if we were more mindful, perhaps we would have less visitors, more mindful interactions, and more paying more attention to the things that we have. Those who waste resources cannot complain when reaching poverty. So, what are the resources that God granted you in this life, and how are you using them? With so much need in the world, do we really need extra things that are so cost so much, take so much to build, when we could perhaps have something simpler and more modest and then give some of what we have to others? It's always a good reflection. Do I have enough? Am I blessed with enough? And for those who don't have a home of their own, who are renting, that also applies. Those who live with family members and friends caring for them. And sometimes we see more people taking better care of their possessions when they don't have a home. That's a very big problem as well in this world, right? It says, blessed are those who dedicate themselves to living without disturbing those who they share their life with. Are we able to be orderly, charitable, benevolent, and comprehending or understanding towards others inside our own homes? That's the invitation for today. So avoid making dangerous jokes that often lead to disaster or even premature deaths. We need to be very mindful of the activities we engage in, the level of risk, just because we want excitement and that rush of adrenaline, because sometimes can lead to disasters and even premature deaths, injury, right? Medical emergencies. This life is so precious, and the line and to get folks in the earth is so long that we need to be very mindful that we are not wasting the precious minutes and hours we have. Now, in terms of if you have spirits loaned to you by God in the form of children, it is a duty to educate, advise, and help a child within his or her spiritual development. It's your duty, it's my duty to help, to advise, and to educate a child in its spiritual development. It's not only about giving them things and experiences. You have to think about the duty to develop the child spiritually. Let's go to the Gospel according to Spiritism. There's a whole chapter, I believe it's chapter 14. that tells parents that their job is to lead that soul to God. And it starts with this spiritual development that starts in the home. It starts taking that child to activities that are part of the Spirit Center, to spiritual classes, to volunteer works, not just to fun and games, but also to the serious matter of the needs of others in our neighborhoods. Need is everywhere, no matter how wealthy your neighborhood is. There's a lot of need. If nothing physically is needed, spiritually, all of us need help. In addition, what do we do towards the adults? He says we should respect adults in their choices, for they should be free in their own actions as much as you wish to be free in your ideas and projects. So we respect the will of others as long as they're not hurting someone else as well, right? We have the duty to help those who are hurting. If you are, that's a warning now, a little tug in the ear by Andrea Louise. He says, if you're not able to tolerate, understand, bless, or be useful to some people in the home, would you be able to fulfill high ideals and commitments in the daily field of life? We have a few people who live with us, 1, 2, 3, 10, depending on your family dynamics. If we are not able to tolerate, understand, and bless them, again, it goes back to the first order, work, charity, benevolence, and comprehension begin in the home. How are we expecting ourselves to be the same, tolerant, understanding, and useful to those outside our home? The home is really the laboratory where you practice those skills and then you go out in the world. So think about it. How are you doing in terms of tolerance, understanding, work, benevolence, and charity towards those who live in your house? Whatever your family configuration is. Those whose God has granted us this lifetime to be together, whose reincarnatory plans have matched and we make the decisions and we will to be together. And then we also have many instances where our relatives are part of our expiatory plan, our learning plan. A lot of trials can come from the family. However, Andrea Luiz just gave us a little wisdom on how to go about living with them in our homes for our own growth towards becoming that superior spirit that you are destined to be. To go together with this book, I'm going to encourage you to go to the book Fought in Life. There is a few chapters about the cradle to children family that complement the teachings of Andrea Luiz in this book, so that we can, the more we know, the more we can be of service to those who are in the home with us. Dear friends, thank you so very much for being together today. With God's blessing and permission, we'll be together again another time with another chapter of the book Green Light. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, watch the playlists over and over until we can learn the lesson. Share the good news of the Christ so others can benefit from it as well. May the light of the Christ be with you today and always. Thank you. Bye bye.